Hello everyone, welcome to the MHS Connect Leadership Spotlight Series. Today we have with us Meenu Arora, who's a Human Capital Director on the MHS account. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Meenu, do you just want to say a little bit about yourself and how you came to be in the MHS account?
Sure. So I actually, just a little bit about myself. I was actually born in India, in a small town about 4 or 5 hours north of New Delhi. It's called Chandigarh. And my dad migrated here when I was about 3.5 years old. So I've been in this country my entire life. But I try and stay very connected to the motherland. It's very important to me. Trying to make it back there once every 2 years. Grew up here, went to school here, went to college here, came out of college, found a love for professional services, and I think I've covered pretty much all the big firms. Started out with back then it was Andersen Consulting, and now Accenture. Spent 11 years there, then went to Bearing Point, spent about 7.5 years there, and then Bearing Point got picked up by Deloitte, and so here I am. I've been lucky enough to kind of change roles during my career with Bearing Point and with Deloitte, migrating from HR and then back into an consulting, core consulting services role. So that's sort of my trip over the last 35, 40 years.
Well, may I ask what attracts you to healthcare specifically then?
So when I was transitioning out of HR and coming back into consulting, I needed a place to land. Most of my experience in the previous 7 or 8 years that I spent in consulting were in the hospitality industry. I love to tell people my claim to fame was implementing Marriott's next generation reservation systems nationally and traveling to every Marriott nationally. That was fun. But that gets old after a while, and after about my 20th Marriott, I think I decided that was probably all that I had to give and moved into HR. And was there about 16 years. Now coming back, I had done a lot of work in my HR role in the healthcare industry, and I had some very strong partnerships and relationships with several of the key partners, and they were wonderful enough to enable me to make that transition back into healthcare.
Wonderful. So travel's always been a part of your life then, it seems to.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
So within MHS, I know that a goal of our new MHS Connect site is that we focus on the people and connecting the people within MHS. And that's also connecting people, I believe, is the crux of human capital. What goals do you have for building the human capital area and the people aspect of MHS in the upcoming year?
Yeah, so my focus as a human capital leader has been really growing the human capital footprint in military health. Leaders such as Bhavan Singh have recognized, and the legacy leaders such as Roger and Rich and Frank have recognized the importance of human capital. Historically, the MHS account has been very strategically focused in technology and S&O, but I think over the last couple of years, there's been a marked recognition of the importance of the human capital function, and we're starting to see that. So year-over-year growth has been exponential, and we've seen, and while the numbers are still modest relative to the size of the account, I would say that our team has done a tremendous job of really building a broad-based understanding of our solutions, our methodologies, and how they will come to meet our clients' needs. And a lot of that is individual projects that we've been able to do in human capital, but a lot of it is just marrying up to the great work that the account teams have already done and what's already in place, and kind of adding on human capital solutions to where we already have a foundation in place.
So it does seem that since technology does play such a strong factor at MHS, have you noticed that human capital has become more technical with it, or is it just that you work in sync with the technical people but still keep to your people aspect?
I think that's a great question, and it's interesting you say it that way, because the trend that we're seeing is that human capital is becoming a little bit more and more and more technologically savvy, and the human capital solutions are attaching themselves with or marrying up with technical solutions. And a perfect example of that is the great work that I'm doing with Paul DeGaulle, who is an amazing technology partner out of our information management service line, and he and I are working together to build MHS Analytics. And it's sort of this coming together or melding of the minds of technology solutions such as semantic interoperability and human capital data and human capital solutions, workforce analytics that focus more on HR and human capital. So it's a great question, and it's actually something we're living and executing today.
That's really interesting. That's an interesting take. I know in the last two questions, at least, you've mentioned several really powerful people that were in your life, such as Rich and Frank. Do you mind talking a little bit about what you think they've provided with MHS?
Oh my gosh, I'm so humbled by that question. The military health account was started by, really sits on the shoulders of a wonderful gentleman by the name of Frank Novier, who is actually now retiring this year. But Frank started the account with, I think, as little of an opportunity as $5,000. And over the last 10 or 15 years, he has been such a pioneer in helping that account grow exponentially with support from leaders such as Roger Foxhall and Richard Stone. And then, in the last couple of years, sort of passing the baton to Bhavan Singh, who has then taken it and just run with it and has done a brilliant job of really growing that account to the illustrious account that it is today, and probably one of the largest accounts that we have in healthcare. I'm truly humbled by the accomplishments of people such as those leaders whose names I just mentioned. And I would implore anyone and everyone that sees this video to reach out and just say thank you, because the foundation that we're sitting on is provided by those leaders, and we should all be proud of their accomplishments. I know I think about it quite often that one lifetime is definitely not enough for me to accomplish what these gentlemen have accomplished for us. So I thank them, and I encourage everyone to thank them when you get the opportunity to do so.
Great, thank you. So they've accomplished a lot in military health and serving their country. I know you do have a side passion that I think all of our listeners would be interested to hear about.
Okay. Well, news spreads fast, huh? Yes, I do actually. Interestingly enough, and some might find this funny, it is a passion, but I have always grown up with this very strange passion for fashion and fashion designing. And when my daughter was born, I have two children. I have a 21-year-old daughter and an 18-year-old son. And when my daughter was born many, many moons ago, when she was 1, I struggled to find really nice clothes for a 1-year-old. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to start designing clothes for her. And I created a line of clothing which was really based on my daughter. The line of clothing was called Nishanelle, because my daughter's name is Nisha. And I went to India for the longest period of time that I've ever been in India, which was 6 weeks. Created an entire collection, brought it back, had a show over on Easter Sunday, and there was a buyer in the audience, and she bought everything. And so ever since then, I just have not been able to make it back to India for 6 weeks. So I'm going to ask Bhavan if he'll let me get out for 6 weeks to go back and resurrect. But it is a true passion of mine, and it's something that my daughter and I now are really thinking about resurrecting in the next few years. So.
Well, that's wonderful. She's very lucky to have a personal designer. But it seems like it's great that you can keep the passion alive for military health, but also maintain these side interests, hopefully.
Well, that's what work-life balance is all about, right? You got to find something to do outside of work.
And it's very evident that you do have quite a fashion sense.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Humbled in my boots. But Meenu, thank you very much for joining us today. If there's any last words you'd like to give the audience.
I think that all I really want to say is that I am so privileged and so honored to be a member of the leadership team of this account. And every day that I wake up, I always try to make sure that I am focused on doing the right thing for the account and giving it all that I can give it to help it grow and flourish beyond where leaders such as Rich and Roger and Frank and Bhavan and others in our account have taken it. So I implore all of you, whether you're new or whether you've been with the account for years, it's a great place to be. You're so lucky to be here. We're so lucky to have you, and I certainly look forward to working with each and every one of you. Thank you.
Meenu, thank you very much.